Thought we weren't going to make it on time, didn't you? Okay, maybe 3 seconds. Anyway, welcome to Let's Talk About It. Name here is George Miller. Out here in the virtual world, they call me GM for GM Interactive. My last name is Resident. And what we have here on our talk show, the name of the talk show, of course, is Let's Talk About It, to where you bring your topic in that you want to talk about. Most of the time, it's telling our story, right? Everybody has a story. Sometimes you don't get an open mic to do that in. So, long time ago, boy, I can't even name how long it's been since I was given the privilege to talk about my story. And then it was a short time because I was really nervous, right? And maybe coming into someone else's show. And then after a while, you get a little bit braver. Or do you actually just develop your story as you go? And it's familiar to you. But your story is actually changing every day, isn't it? Your life story, how you can help people out, be a service to your community, that type of thing. So the first thing I need to do is help you at least know how to, when you want to, how to get into our show here. And you're not really coming in as an avatar. I'm just hosting. First time ever where you have an avatar actually hosting a show about their region. Our region here behind me, what you see in my region is Breathe Resort. And let's see, I think I have a band. Yeah, we're at Wolf Territories. Here, let's go this way. That's our address. It's almost like an internet address, except for you have to put that in a browser. You have to put that actually get inside your browser and to make that work. So it's a little more involved. That's why it's a lot easier to tell you to go to GM Interactive, my name, gminteractive.com. And on the front page is this show. It's a YouTube show, so you're probably hearing me for the first time, not knowing, wow, what is this guy doing? GM Interactive, of course, is my name out here. I have an account, several accounts at YouTube. You might be listening for the first time if someone says, hey, have you seen the Let's Talk About It show at YouTube? The address would be GM Let's Talk About It, spelled out for an address. Or you just ran across it like in highlights. Or perhaps someone told you. Hopefully someone told you about this and you're getting the information word of mouth. I rely on the word of mouth and the interest in what we have here more than really the advertisements and any money that might want to be made. We're set up for personal growth. But anyway, gminteractive.com, on that front page, you'll see this plan. At the bottom, let me see if I can show you. Yeah, at the bottom of the page here, that's what you'd see when you get to gminteractive.com. And let me see if I can move it over here a little bit, just so you can see that down at the bottom, just to refresh that particular account and I don't want to play it because that's where I'm actually live right now, you'd be using that blue button to come on in. See the blue button right below the yellow for the TV? That's your invitation to come on in. Everybody's welcome. I don't have anybody uh, that I'm keeping this away from right now. The only reason would be is if you caused trouble in the past. Haven't had any troubles on the, I think this is the fifth show, right? So let me see here. I'm not watching a show, I'm creating a show, so I don't get all the prompts. I'm finding that it's really different from when I did this, 8 years ago. With maybe it's the part that that you run across when you're expanding in life, doing different things. I'm not in here just with a video camera and running to my computer and going on the air with my audio and my video. I'm actually sharing this to the show and making it happen that way. So I'm in world, our virtual world here, and making that happen. So there's another twist to it, right? So I have video going out, in and out, and then back in again. So I can show you what's going on, perhaps steering things around with this last program that puts me on the air as an avatar. And we have different ways we can show you what's going on, right? When people actually come in, they'll be coming in where it says gminteractive.com right there. That's to help you realize that when you do go to that website, you can use that blue button to come in. If that's not a concern for you, you don't need to worry about it, right? But everybody's welcome to come on in, tell their story. We're just going to be talking to each other in a controlled atmosphere. And if you have a challenge in life, we go through that. It's a matter of having fun on your computer and still living your life and getting maybe advice from people. This is our fifth show. And you'll see at the top, let's talk about it, 005, and then of course the date. Today's Monday. And that's all you really need to know. Come on in and talk to me. Every once in a while, I'm going to have a guest come in because of the slow kind of start we're getting here. But I do have confidence in what's going on because I've done this before. And people are shy. They're trying to, if it's brand new to you, you're shy, don't know what's going on, don't want to be out of place. Nobody wants to actually come in and cause trouble or, be out of place. I'm telling you right now, you're not out of place when you come in here. You're coming into a friendly atmosphere. And when it's not friendly, we correct it. And the mean people, the dark side of life disappears. Don't let them come in. But come on in and we'll say hello to you and we'll get to know each other. And then another person will, and so on. We can hold up to a group of people that's in here. I say I can have 10 people in here, and I notice that it's because now I'm sharing. So I'm in here in person, but I'm also sharing, and that's what you're seeing. So let's see, we'll go back to this full more like that so you can kind of see what's going on. But when the people come in, they'll come in down here and down the road even. I'll put other prompts in there so we can sit side by side and maybe see all of the people. We'll go across right now, 8 people across the bottom there, and what we call the film strip. when it gets going. gminteractive.com. And you push your button and you make it happen for you. And the reason I'm in avatar form right now, because it does make it easier for you down the road to understand that even though the show is only an hour long, perhaps you want to be an avatar and you want to come into world and, be in Wolf Territories grid and get your own land, or come on down here and enjoy our Breathe Resort all the time. Doesn't cost any money. Nothing of mine costs money. On Breathe Resort is where you're going to get some help in arranging your avatar, what you want to look like. Now, this is a backup to the show. When there isn't anybody on, the show continues anyway. This is a good thing. Okay? Not all the time we're going to be having George walking through Breathe Resort behind me. But that's my way out, and to keep the interest into the program is to have this avatar be able to show you what it's all about. Every avatar you see in here, or there are some people that run with NPCs, but I don't. So every person you see on our site, other than you might be dancing, maybe we can do a little bit of that today. Dancing? You say, what? Yeah, we do everything in real life, or that you can do in real life, we do it down here. And we can get you as a computer nut that likes to roam around a computer and see all the different things that's happening, from YouTube and from a lot of different places. We can show you that you can actually live into a world out here where you're not picking up a gun and shooting at each other and and going that route. You actually can create a atmosphere of friendship where you start liking people and you start helping them out. Oh, wow, okay. Well, what do I need to do to help you? First thing they're going to ask you is, do you build? Do you build? What do you mean by that? Well, do you know how to build these worlds behind you? Behind me here, You know how to build that? Do you know how to find from some of the stores? Possibly in OpenSim. We are in OpenSim. This is not SL, Second Life. This is actually OpenSim. Second Life doesn't open their doors to go to other grids. Hard to believe, but we are almost catching up, if not maybe past how huge Second Life is on this grid that's maybe 5 years old, 4.5, 5 years old. But to condense what's happening is new. Second Life's been around a little longer. And that's okay, because you can be a person on Second Life and just log into it, just like changing channels on your browser. We have a thing called a what would it be called? It'd be an interface, right? It's called a viewer, and the viewer that I use, there's a couple of different viewers, but the one that I use and like the best, just like browsers, there's different browsers, but the one that I like the best is Firestorm. So I'm a Firestorm user that has different grids that I can jump on from that browser. And once you get used to being an avatar here, you can open up a map, right? See this menu on the bottom? There's one called map. This map, I have Breathe Resort, of course, is where I'm at. That's why it's lit up like that. There's a map of the world out here. The map is so huge, you have to actually pull it around to see what's going on. Okay? And this is us right here. So Breathe Resort is a little bit bigger than the average Joe. And where we're located is that blue button. And my home is this one down here in red. So when I click my home button, I run into that home, which is on the resort. I'm the only one that lives on the resort. Yeah, but I do have other houses. You'll learn kind of as we go here. I think we mention it each time. So don't worry about living anywhere right away. And it's not going to cost you money on our resort. Perhaps you'll get involved and actually help out with the resort, which is almost like having your land, right? Except for I'll be footing the bill, if you will, to keep resort up and going money-wise. I think it's very important to have that capability. You can see that, we can stretch this out. See, so it just depends. See, there are other people right here. Down below us here, there's other things that are taking place. Water sports to spaceships, okay? But each avatar, see if I can put this back to normal. Whatever size you have this on will actually be that size when you open it up next time. And when you don't need the map anymore, the map is, let's see here, got to use this. Or in my case, this address that I put across the screen, gridwolfterritories.org. Okay, see that? That is if you were on any of the grids that are out here, except for SL. You can use that, go to your map, put that in your map. If you're on any of the grids, that's actually telling you which grid we're on, Wolf Territories, and then it's got the exact address that brings you into Breathe Resort. It's not that difficult once you kind of get used to it and rely on it. Trust in what's going on. I'm talking today kind of off the top of my head. I've noticed that actually works out best anyway. I'm not a quick reader. Even when I'm writing the material, it doesn't work like that. So what I have is an interest into helping people out. So this address anyway, right here, is not where you're registered to actually come in. You actually have to go to, well, it's this address here. Let's see. To become a member of Wolf Territories, this is a website now. So that wolf-grid.com, wolf-grid.com is the website for our Wolf Territories experience. And that would go if you're lining things up. If you log into Wolf Territories by itself, you'd have to open up the map. You go to their welcome center, right? To the Wolf Territories Welcome Center. And then you go to your map, and since you're already on a grid, you only have to tell it where you want to go. So you can write in Breathe Resort. And on that particular map over here, you notice this address right here. That address actually shows that you can have a space in the name of your region. I'd take you to my welcome region rather than the grid's welcome region. That's how that works. And I'll have to get there's other, when you get to Wolf Territories, right there on Wolf minus grid, it will explain it all. Okay. And if you look at the map, you can actually go, well, wait a minute, I can see that map right there. And the way this map works is kind of cool. You can pull this around and say, I want to go right into not the home, but you go right down into anywhere where it says Breathe Resort on the right-hand side there. That's where my airplanes can land. I have a lot of water. So when you're flying your plane coming from another, you can't come from another grid flying your plane, but after you get on the grid, you can fly your plane around the grid and make that work. But you can also go and wherever you can zoom in, wherever you want to land, you double click right there on the map, and that's going to give you a teleport right to that area. We let people land anywhere on our resort. Once you like it, you can actually landmark it or make it your home to where when you do log in, you're just going to always land in Breathe Resort. So we're teaching a little bit each day about our systems that are out here. These are my close friends right here. And that just, it's all within a click from each other. So it didn't really matter how far you are away, but you get yourself on the map. This down here, we had the World's Fair, right? Put that in the center so I can go in there. That's our World's Fair when we had in World, we had all those little squares. People actually paid so they can, during the fair, have their information that they have about their own region. Maybe they wanted to share an experience, that type of thing. Sell some stuff to you. OpenSim is noted for a lot of free stuff. You'll see actually signs around, never buy an OpenSim. Well, there are still some people selling something, and these are okay. But just realize that it might cost you money. So you got to be prepared and learn how to buy and sell things. We're not going to get into that today, but looking at your map, see, your map here can show you what's going on. I'm doing a lot of stuff, and I'm doing all this by myself when I say when I'm talking, I guess, right now in this segment. I'm the director, so I have to start and stop and actually use this. All this page here is me using Firestorm and running around. The prompts that you see here, I can take off and on of what is shown to you out here on the show. So sometimes I get confused because of the format, but I get better and better as the days go on here. You watch. From a chair, I'm sitting in this chair here. I always say, we have this, see this down here? It's a stand. You'll get used to all this where this is at, and you can put it where you want to. All these prompts you see are movable. Other people, if they share their screen, for instance, and they are doing what I'm doing right now, all of these buttons right here are put where they want them to show up. If I wanted to listen to my nearby chat, for instance, if there were more people in here, I would open up this right here, this button here. And these are telling me who's online, my friends that are actually online now doing their thing. They might be listening. Some of them know what's going on here. And all of that is okay too, right? And they'll be joining me someday. I was asking for a little bit of time at the beginning so I can have some brand new people in here and start discovering things that they might want as a brand new person that says, wow, can you do this? Can you do that? Usually, if you're coming from Second Life, you already realize, wow, in order to do some of this stuff in Second Life, it costs so much money. We're talking into thousands of dollars a month, just like if you were living in real life. If you own land, the territories and how big that land can get. Anyway, I've always taught that if you're coming from sit position, if you double click on the floor, for instance, I have double click turned on. Yeah, we don't need the nearby chat right now. If these guys want to get a hold of me, you're going to see something up here turn into orange or a red. Some people call it red, but it's the orange color. And that means that they're calling me. You can actually call people, and then you answer the call, or they're inviting you to a chat room to answer the call. This bottom white square that I have right here, that is the people on the resort. And you'll get to learn how to do that because I'm leaving all of mine on here so I can stay in teach mode. And I've noticed that right here, first time that I've actually look around, the reason I have this one dark, see this one's dark? By the way, if you're looking at this on YouTube and you want it bigger, you know how to make a YouTube file full screen, right? Bottom right-hand corner is that square. You make it full screen. You can do the same thing on these files when you come into World. When you come in here, it's a video the size of a normal video, but if you want to go full screen on it, it's the same thing. You click it and it will go full screen for you so you can read some of this because it's maybe just a tad small, depending on what screen you got going on your computer. Anyway, back to my stand up, I actually double click. You could stand up, makes it a lot better. Then here, let me sit back down again. See, click the chair, sit back down. Now, if I take this and stand up, I'll jump forward from that seat, and I happen to have a table there. So here's what happens if you just hit stand. Oh, no, I'm standing. If the table wasn't there, I'd be standing in front of my chair. So keep that in mind. It's kind of an etiquette thing, right? I didn't want to stand up here on the chair. So you get used to getting off of anything instead of just standing. You can find yourself a floor, double click on it, and make it look like you're actually jumping right behind your chair. Just looks better than standing up. Or I'm getting confused, or, Everything in life should be running smooth. If it doesn't run smooth, You can correct it just by knowing a little bit more about it and put that knowledge that you know into your heart. Understand what's going on. Dig deeper for the true meaning of it. I have windows going all the way around here. I can't get out. I'm like a bird in a cage, right? Except for walking through walls. We'll kind of maybe show you that someday too. How to walk through a wall. How to get out on the other side of that wall. For instance, I think this one might be, let's find out. Yeah, it's set up to where I can walk right through it. Okay. Remember, we're in a showtime here now. And I don't have this playing out on our TVs in world yet until I get my stuff down pat and know that my equipment can handle it. But Wolf Vision has a way that I can actually, during my live shows, play that live show if I actually transmit it out to Wolf Vision Direct. And then anybody on any of their regions, or even just anybody, can pull it up and play it. But that's just like playing from a YouTube, right? Because that's where we transmit our stuff, so YouTube. You might be asking why we have all this over here. Well, this is kind of my media area on this level at the Space Needle. It's on the 3rd level. You notice how I see my eyes were backed up far enough to where I'm outside the window. And now I'm inside the window. So it's just knowing where you're at, what's happening. Anyway, the DJ booth here, we have on our areas, we have a lot of DJ booths. Oh, we have a lot of people that don't actually use the DJ booth and they're singing. They're singing right on stage. So each and every event that takes place, you arrange that. And they don't have a DJ booth. But to learn at least what we have here, and some people bring their own DJ booth, right? We let that all happen. Or I can sit here as a DJ, look down, see what's happening, see my records going around. We can change on this DJ booth. We can change, for instance, let's talk about tech. We can actually create over here, let's talk about it. Okay, that's how we change it. We're kind of looking, we're teaching you how to be a DJ. What was it? Tech, right? Let's talk about tech. And everything you see here turning around all can be changed that same way independently. We show the DJers how to actually add a album cover for the record they might be playing and have that work for them. That's there. Not a lot of people go that much into detail, but it is possible. So again, I'm standing. Instead of just hitting my stand, I double click, which gets me off of that stand position. If somebody came up and I was talking to them, I could talk to them like this. And a lot of times I'll come out and talk to them like this, or they're talking to me either way. They can use that. But okay, I'm still looking and I'm paying attention. There's a doorbell that rings in my ears. I don't think it comes out on the air here for you. But it rings in my ears when somebody shows up so we can talk to them. Again, I'm using this avatar position to kind of give you an idea of what's going on. I have my desk here because sometimes I'll, in the future, have someone else actually having their show take place, and I can stay out of screen. If I keep myself parked over here, I don't run into whatever it is that they have going. I can sit down over here or even create a show here and people can sit next to me here and so on. So let's go out and see what we have that I didn't show you yet. So we'll stand up, right? Remember, we can do it in different ways. Let's do it kind of over here. Instead of taking time going down the elevator, I have this elevator. And I have this one to bring an elevator up. If I walked in there, I'd fall down the shaft, right? But over here, I'm on the 3rd floor now, but I can go down to ground. Okay, I went straight down to the ground. And someone left a balloon here. A couple days now. I didn't put it away. It's okay. It's not hurting anybody. We're walking around. I could grab a boat. Anybody could, but we can walk over. Let's see if we actually go over to our lodge. We call this Miller Lodge. My last name's Miller. And Miller Lodge is that brown building that you see right there to my right underneath me here now. We're going to go over to Miller Lodge, and I'm walking over rather than taking a TP. It's kind of giving you the idea that you don't have to TP around all the time to go somewhere and be confused. Slow your life down a little bit, walk through whatever you need to. Before we even go inside, what do we have? 20 more minutes, you guys. 20 minutes, and the show will end. So if you wanted to come on in to ask what's going on, you could come in with just audio too, you know. Come in, you'll see how to turn your video camera off. But like right here, if we were swimming, if I was prepared, if we were swimming, we could go out here to the ramp and do some swimming. And this is animated, so you can, here's what you look, well, I guess it goes me in this. Yeah. Yeah, I can stand down here. And to use the animation, you right click and sit. Takes you into a menu. But we're going to go out over here. Didn't even get wet. This is the beach area for swimming if you want, but most of it is where you can park your boat. You want to say, oh, okay. Look at, we even have another swimming down here. So normally the boats would be on this side. You can even have lunch if you wanted to. But let's go inside. If you haven't picked one up and you're an avatar, you won't need it unless you're an avatar. But this Free Breathe Resort HUD is what this right here on my left-hand side. I use that all the time. Okay. Translator is if I was to turn on my nearby chat and someone came in and they did not speak English, the translators will translate that for you. There's a new one out I'm looking at too that's a lot easier to use, but you can do that training. And since I'm not going anywhere, I'll turn that off or make it not available. But I know that with the word breathe off to the side there, I know that that can be handy for me at all times. Okay, and also when you come in, if you want to join our group, doesn't cost anything to join the group. I usually have that outside most of the buildings out here. If you see it, doesn't cost you money. But then you're tied if you want to, anytime that we make an announcement from Breathe Resort, even if you're on the other grids, if I make an announcement from Breathe Resort, then you'll know when the different functions and different things come up. As an individual, you can come in to worlds like this without it costing you money, and you don't even have to have a house. You can go around visiting and doing the things that I'm showing you right now. Okay, let's go inside. This is kind of right off the kitchen. I don't need the local chat. I'm leaving these on so you can tell that if I wanted to actually steer myself, I can steer myself this way, but I'm doing these same buttons on the on my keyboard. My arrows, I use the arrows. Some people use the WASD. You can do that too. Just tell your avatar what you want to have done. Okay, this is my little office in here. If I'm working on a project, for instance, and here's my desk. If I'm working on a project, I usually label it right here. This is all, it's like a chalkboard, but I can change the pictures on it. Gives you an idea what I'm working on right now. Right now, I actually am working on the show, right? I'm learning a little bit each day on the show. And once that gets back in my mind, like it used to be really, really nice. And it's nice now, but it's a little different format and so on. So if you needed to come in here, you could do that to find out what I'm working on. And these windows all open up. When you open up the windows, I'll know that, oh, someone's in there. And from the outside, okay, I can see that all from the outside and be able to find out what's going on and so forth. You might have a question. You might have whatever it is. If I'm online, you can, and I know that my name doesn't show up here because it's me looking, but if you had your radar, or some people call a people window, if you had, and it's a different window, it's a little bigger, but you can change the size here on this one. What am I getting at? If you see my name, I'm on the resort. You can double click that name and actually it takes your eyes to where I'm at. And you can tell where I'm at and then maybe double click the floor and pop right in. Now, there's a courtesy that takes place at that time. You don't want to pop right in to scare them. So you might want to pop in to the room next door and knock on the door, or come in from a door frame or whatever, you know. Let me shut these windows while I'm here. Trying to clean up, right? Shut the windows. I click to shut. If I had a meeting here, I have the pillows set up. Guys can sit down, they don't have to roam around the room. Or if I'm meeting you one-on-one, you might want to sit on the end. Just different things, right? Trying to be comfortable with what's taking place. This is what we call Miller Lodge. I have 15 minutes, so I probably won't run around like I did the other day. But Miller Lodge is just it. We have a place over here where you can have a snack or two, sit down. There's a clock on the wall. That's what time it is right now. Okay, and that happens to be in world time, let alone George Miller's time for our show, in between 10 and 11 every day, 7 days a week, an hour long. Some cases I have to actually limit it at an hour. That's because of my personal life. I have something going. I have to go to the dentist or a doctor or whatever. I set up my appointments through that. Okay, so sometimes I can't stick around. We have the greedy. Everybody that comes in here learns greedy a time or two. They'll actually get used to playing greedy. Okay, and looking down at the board, the dice game. Okay, kind of like Yahtzee in a way, but it's called greedy. We call it out here greedy, greedy, greedy. Second Life actually has the first people that created a greedy board, and I wanted to see if they can get a greedy board over here. I'd have to pay for it because that's how it works in Second Life. And I guess that's how it works over here too. But what I did is I went out, I found a friend that could script, right? And I said, hey, if I get you textures and get some things put together like this, can you make me up a greedy board? And then we got permission from Greedy at SL to go ahead and do that, but we're going to call it greedy, 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 something different. And there's different types of tables. This is, we just made up one. And we made it so we can change the seating on it. So what the different greedy boards that we have around our area here, you'll see the different seats. We can change them at will. I suppose since we're talking about it, Liam, right? Made by Liam Houghton and GM Interactive. Okay, resets. So that's how that works, right? Dining room. Let's go into the dining room here. We have a lunchroom on this side and a living room on the other side of the kitchen. Now, all this is set up that you could use with a friend, or you had an office, people from the office. We're finding more and more people come in to these worlds that actually are accomplishing things, not just fun time to play, which is always playing too, but they're accomplishing things. We put a TV off to the side there, and we'll be able to, just turn that on like I've been showing you how to work a TV in World. Haven't had anybody come into the show yet. I'll see that. Remember, I'm working with 3 screens, so I'm seeing that. No one's come in. Now, the other day, because, like I say, I get busy and pushing buttons. The other day, I had in the comments area, because you can stay at YouTube. If you found this at YouTube and you go up to the comments area, I have them turned on, or the chat room, not the comments, but the chat room, and make a comment. I actually see it on this end. And I can bring that to you with a button like this. Yep, this is a StreamYard program. Okay, that's how I can bring your comment to maybe someone else that's out here, and we're trying to, you're guiding me maybe through what you want to learn about Breathe Resort, or you have an answer to a question when we get into conversations with people. But that's at my command on if I want to show that or not. Okay, since we only have about 10 minutes left, let's see that clock. That is a good idea. We have a couple clocks posted, and they stick to our time. in world. Okay, which happens to be my time for the show. This is our second floor. Now I turned this place into, there are no bedrooms. Okay, I have a walk around. Okay, I can walk all the way around from the outside. That's Big Blue off to my right. But I have a walk around all the way around. So you can be in conversation maybe with somebody, go for a walk. Get, maybe they have a meeting inside a room and you're trying to stay away from them getting into the meeting. Courtesy. It doesn't get really that busy up here, but you could. So anyway, this right here is a room. Okay, people can sit down and talk. You're talking about a project of yours or whatever. Different things all the time. Every time I even come into this room, I can show you something different. That's one room. This door here takes me out to where the top of the stairs when I came up at the beginning, right there. The clock, half the clock anyway, right? This is our living room over here. Don't have a TV set up because we're set up to actually talking with people. If for some reason there were a lot of people on Breathe Resort right now, then we can still run our show and not bother them on whatever it is that they have going. Even next door, or across the street, if you will. That's this one. Let's go through this bedroom or this room. We call this room the blue room. Okay, but if there was a function right over there at Big Blue, we would not hear them or anything. They can have all the fun that they want. You see that black carpet going around Big Blue? That's kind of like a borderline. It's been parceled out for people who are avatars already. That's been parceled out. And therefore the music will stay inside there. Just like our voices will stay over here. Depends on what we want to do. Sometimes I can close it off and all voices or expressions. Oh, here, let's do this way. Sorry, let's go this way. Okay, here's another room. You can get it off the main. This door here goes into the main front room we were talking about. There, can you see that? Right? Anyway, we're in this room. And then in between the two rooms, I have a restroom. No one's in here. Or shower room, if you will. And a tub area. Okay. I have those curtains in phantom mode. So those are always shut, just walk through them. Same thing with the shower here, if you're taking a shower. And it has prompts on the walls for washing, showering, doing your thing in the shower. But the doors walk through. We even have towels. If you wanted to have a towel doing your thing. Okay. Again, this comes right off of the, how about that? We have a bathroom and a shower room with no bathroom. That's something. Anyway, different showers. This is Miller Lodge. Now this area over here is for like exercising and sauna or a massage, if you will. This is where I introduced those pillows a long time ago, and people like to sit down and actually talk in here while someone's working on them. So I said, okay, well, we'll leave it. It doesn't matter, right? And all these windows are windows. So right out here, if they're running a race or if you have somebody that's doing a water skiing or just whatever it is they got going, you can watch for that and keep that handy. And then this brings you all the way around to where we walked around the house, right? So we have about 4 more minutes here. But everybody can understand that if I can take a full hour just coming over here, that you can get a lot done if you wanted to. But time goes by pretty quick for a show's atmosphere like this. If you wanted to come over and just wander around by yourself because you want to get away from the wacky world that's out there, you can do it. Since I had 3 minutes, I thought, well, you know what? I haven't walked over to these. We on another grid had a function to where they wanted to have a parade. So they gave us these platforms here, and they said, and that's the from the white down. Apparently, it must have been Christmas time, but you can make this all happen. So what I did is I made I made it happen. But it's not programmed up because they program it on their end to be going down a street, uh, showing off whatever it is you have going. I like these two the best. I think I made about 18, and I like these two the best. And so that just happens to be what our Breathe Resort was represented as at one time in a parade. I thought that maybe I could script those up and put them into boats. And the scripting that I know about anyway, there is one that follows each other and so forth. But I think that we could do that as a parade, but you stay on the water out here, and everybody has their own. If they're a builder, has their own, and then they could drive it, and we can follow each other in the parade. Right? Everybody will have their own boat or a boat of some kind. My ideas change and are set in our minds what we kind of want to do. And then as we talk to people, it forms a definite way to do it that would represent people even better is to have their own boat, whatever boat that they like, in all different sizes, relative, all different sizes. They can't have it too big. I could not bring this ship over there, for instance, and use the ship to make it all happen. That would be a little bit too much. But yeah, it's 11 o'clock. We can be close to on time again. You know, if we had different things taking place in the middle of a conversation, it's harder to hit the exact numbers. But since I'm not, uh, talking to anybody in that way, this boat would be a good boat to kind of go through, right? Anyway, let me see if I can. I'll just use this sit down area over here. Well, here, let's do it right from the main stage, right? So I can go over here a lot quicker with my eyes like this. be able to sit down, be able to back up because that's the name of our show even right now. Let's talk about it. I want to thank everybody for coming by today and in the future, because this will be on file and maybe listening to this down the road, or someone finally gets to be a member of our group that's out here taking care of the place, and they want to say, well, I think George had a meeting on that, or GM had a meeting on that about that. Let's go take a look at that together, and then they can use this in the future for themselves. So, but for now, we're going to say thanks for visiting. Appreciate everybody that's listening out there. Come on in and have fun for yourself. What's it all about, right? Does not need to be in a show atmosphere. If you come in and start wandering around and I can say, oh, that person has a mission, I'm not going to even bother you. Just like if you were on a show or something yourself, because you can film things from your eyes. You can make that happen on your end. But until tomorrow at 10 o'clock, my name is George Miller, GM Interactive. Keep talking about it.